We're going live.
We are live.
You done messed up, boy.
Large and in charge.
We're still waiting on it. It's see.
Zero.
Oh, well, there's nobody watching. What's up with that?
It'll turn here in a second.
I know there's one or two out there.
They're not there.
Man, it's taking forever. There we go. Y'all ready?
They're ghosts.
Yes, sir.
Here we go. Welcome to Creative Makers Podcast with your host, Joey with Steel Blade Woodworks, Matt with Wacky Works Workshop, Jen with Jen's Turns, Jamie with JP Woodwork, and Jake with Northside Custom Crafts. Welcome to episode 40 of Creative Makers Podcast. And today we have Mathew, the Wooden Mustache from Mass. How's it going?
Hello.
How you doing, bud?
Very good. How's everyone out there?
Look at that mustache.
Is that a wooden one?
Nice.
Glorious.
Is that organic?
It's a clip-on. It's a clip-on.
It's a clip-on. There we go.
Store-bought.
His lip just moves around with it.
Well, we're going to get it going, Mathew, and we just usually start off by asking, give us a little background history of how you got started in the mustache world.
All right. Let's see. So, I bought a house in 2012, and I got to a point where I wanted to kind of like renovate a few things and stuff. A friend of mine moved in after I split up with my ex, and he's super handy, very, very knowledgeable friend to have. He's been making stuff his entire life, and we did, windows, doors, siding. We did a bluestone patio. We did a shed, a variety of things in the house and stuff. And he kind of like pushed me into, you got this one car garage, like, let's turn this into a shop. And I was like, yes, let's do it. So we converted it over, we insulated, and we just kind of started making random things. And I kind of got hooked from there. There's a variety of things I still want to do on my house, and in the shop. I just got a 3D printer, so that's just been a time suck in itself.
Yeah.
And I've just kind of, it's a good stress relief because I work in IT. I sit at a desk all day, and to be able to like just get up and go out into the shop and stuff, that's perfect. It's a nice change of pace and just an awesome way to. And I'm not looking at a screen anymore too. Like that's huge.
So this is a hard thing for you today to have to look at us, huh?
No.
And that has nothing to do with what we were saying.
Hey, if I could do this all day, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah. It's fun.
All right, I got I'm Jake from Northside Custom Crafts, and I usually do an icebreaker. So my icebreaker for you is: do you have an alternative social media handle in case you ever want to shave your mustache?
Ooh, that's a good question, Jake. I do not. For April Fools, it wasn't last year; it was the year before. I pretended to shave my mustache, and I found some like Snapchat filter that like hides facial hair, and I did a few stories with it and everything on my profile. I changed my name to the Wooden Mustache, and like I just tried to like throw everyone sideways. But if I was to shave it, I don't have a backup plan. I'm like fully invested at this point.
You're all the way in.
Stays away from fire and stuff.
Yeah, there's no I don't know, because my mustache used to be seasonal. I would start it in like August, and then around December, maybe early January, I would shave it off, and I would have a naked upper lip for the remainder of the time. And I was talking to my wife. What was that? Probably, I think I started my Instagram in 2019 or 2020, and I was like, I need a clever. I love a good pun, and I was just like, give me something that's like kind of a play on words and stuff. And she's like, how about the wooden mustache? And I was like, do it. Sold. Like, that was our first idea. And I was like, my goodness, she's awesome. So she came up with a name, and ever since I'm just like, well, I can't shave it. Like, that's my my whole thing. That's all I got going for me.
Secretly, he doesn't like it at all.
Yeah.
It's just stuck with it now.
She's like, dang it, I was looking forward to August.
Yeah. She does not like the mustache, for the record.
Oops.
Yeah.
Goodness. Well, hello everybody. Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jen.
Hey everyone, I'm Jen with Jen's Turn. And normally I would ask the serious question, kind of do opposite of what Jake does, but I was scrolling through your Instagrams and found your VHS tape storage thing. So I gotta know, do you really have VHS tape still and a working VCR?
So we do have a working VCR, but my wife started collecting them. She has a horror movie podcast. So she has a variety of different DVDs, Blu-rays, 4Ks, and she started collecting VHS tapes. And she bought a few off eBay, and they showed up. I think one of them was in the original box from like maybe the mid 80s, I want to say. And the other one, the guy literally just like threw it in a box and didn't put any padding in it or anything. So it just like got tossed around by the mail carriers and just like destroyed. So I did a little like reel on just like patching it back together with some Star Bond and stuff. And I actually, when I first posted that, I said it was a VCR holder, and like not thinking anything. And someone pointed that out, and they were just like, so that holds VCRs? I was like, no, actually, that holds VHS tapes.
Somebody will find your mess up, I promise.
But yeah, I don't think she's watched a single one.
I'm just glad you said horror. Because you had me for a second. I was what?
I said movie. I have to say movie after that also, Jake.
Yeah. I was like, but we agreed.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, my name is Matt with Wacky Works. Matt, since you have such a great name, I get to call it out here. I was looking at your Instagram and stuff, and you started out with the Harbor Freight dust collector, and you came into this 5-gallon bucket as your bucket. Then you came into a smaller bucket. Is that a smaller bucket that you got going on there? What you got going on with that whole dust collection? And
it's probably the same size. It's probably a 5-gallon. I haven't gotten to the point with what I make that I need a larger bucket.
Mm-hmm.
If I did, that whole wall mounted setup that I did would just kind of go out the window. I would need to like do something different, because that's like right. I have a little storage cabinet right below that. Yeah. So if I got to the point where I was just like making a lot of sawdust, I would definitely need to modify that. Like using the planer. I was doing a project and I was like planing a bunch of walnut and stuff, and that bucket filled up twice on me. and you know, I was just like, okay, like that's kind of like a specific tool that will just generate tons of sawdust.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, I think over time, you know, and I'm in a 1-car garage shop, so I mounted the way that I mounted that setup on the wall and stuff was like the best for kind of what I could do at the time. Because I want to, in the future, I'd love to have a CNC, and you know, I'm going to need the footprint on the floor for that. So if I was to make kind of like a corner mounted dust collection, that would, you know, take up some space on the floor. So yeah, for right now, the 5-gallon bucket works. I don't.
It was. I mean, it's definitely original. I've never seen that before, and it was pretty good.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
And did you got blast gates going to all your drops that you see? Because I noticed you had a couple drops going in there.
I do. I have. I went from the shop vac and like smaller dust deputy, like everyone kind of probably started with, and I had 2.5-inch lines going around the shop and stuff, and moving up to that Harbor Freight one, I replumbed everything with like 4-inch lines and stuff, and I have, so that's on one side of the garage, and then I have a line that comes down, and then eventually I want to make a dust floor sweep off that line, and then I have another one that goes over to the other side of the wall that I need to. I still need to like fix the top part of the wall in that triangular part to actually make that a wall, because right now it's just a pink board that I've just kind of like made a few pieces and they just kind of like sit up there and stuff. So I'd like to fix that before I actually like put that 4-inch line over there.
Yeah.
Because I have my miter saw that I'd like to utilize with that dust collector in the future.
Right. Hello, everybody. I am Jamie from JP Woodwork. So, first of all, hello, Mathew. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
So, a bit of a follow-up to Matt's question. So, the drop-down hose is a great idea, apart from when you have to put it back up, of course, as seen on your Instagram.
Was that
I did see that. Was that an idea that you had thought up, or did you see that somewhere and decide you wanted to put your little take on it?
That was that came completely from my brain.
All up in there.
And
thank you, brain. Thank you.
I mean that reel's buried. It's probably hard to find, but I'm surprised you found that.
Not too hard.
That was kind of comical, because like I've struggled. I don't have that up anymore because I switched the size of my lines and stuff, and you know, it seemed like a good idea. You know, it works. I made a little hook that I can like hold that outside frame up over my head so it's not hitting me in the face and stuff. But getting that to collapse back, it's like one of the blue Rockler hoses that like compresses up real nice and stuff. Getting that to like stay together, and then being able to like bring that swing around and like hook it in, and then like I only made a front and the back out of wood. So like I think if I was to make more of a box, so it didn't, because what happens is I'll collapse it all up, and then I'll go to like hook it, and then it's like, pew, it just like pours out the side, which my reel shows.
How'd it go? Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to redesign that, but I mean, like I put a blast gate right on that and everything. It worked. In all actuality, it worked decently. I'm happy and then sad when I have to like put it back together.
Well, here's another sad question. I'd like to know, how long were you employed at the restaurant Hooters?
It's my kind of story right here. You know what I mean?
Here we go.
That was a 1 day thing.
Okay.
We were.
I'd have got fired too.
We were I don't remember if we were on our honeymoon or if that was a couple years after. But yeah, that was in Mexico in Cozumel, and I saw that little cutout and stuff, and I was like, oh, that's content right there, all over it. And yeah,
it's quite an awakening picture as you start from the ground up, and then you get to that
surprise.
Yeah, you're like, whoa, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't even bother training me.
Can't imagine why.
Slackers.
Oh my goodness.
Well, we have a question from the chat. Red Leg Custom Woodworks. Hey, Matt. Yeah, you know where this is going. If someone ever epoxied a project to his or her workbench, what do you feel would be the best way to get it unattached?
So I would say it depends on how stuck it is. You might be able to pry it off. If you can't pry it off, though, maybe a flush trim saw would help you with that process.
Well, to follow up with that, I saw that, and I want to know if you did that on purpose to strengthen the piece. If that's what the whole thing
totally.
Was
Yep.
Yeah, there we go.
100%. 100%. Definitely.
I mean,
no. So that was a wedding sign, and for anyone that does. Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, I am a very last minute person, and I like to wait. I like to wait right to the cutting edge, and so I had a wedding sign that I had to make for a friend of mine, and I waited until
day before.
I think I started that on a Monday, and the wedding was on a Saturday. So on Wednesday or Thursday, I messaged her and I was just like, "Hey, so just wondering, like, if I
still get married,
I can't get this done by Saturday, like, is that a deal breaker?" And she immediately responded and she was like, "Oh, that's we have like a special spot to like put that in the wedding, and we want to take pictures in front of it." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
It's like,
failure is not an option.
You're like, he's not as cool as you think he is.
So I poured that epoxy. I think it was on a Wednesday. No. Yes. No, it was a Thursday actually. So I poured the epoxy on a Thursday, and on Friday, I had two pieces. It was a 24 inch round at a black walnut, and I had like hollowed out the center, and I put LED lights inside of it. On the front face, I had like scrolled their name out and everything, and the epoxy was in the letters for their name, and that was what I poured the epoxy into. So it was cured by Friday. Friday night, I was like taking it, going to like take it all off and everything, and the first piece came off because it was split. I have a DeWalt planer, so I'm limited to what I can pass through that. So I had it in two different pieces. So I did like the top part and the bottom part, and I think the top part came off, and then the bottom part did not. And the bottom part was completely epoxied. I had a little leak, and it just decided to just bond the entire thing to the workbench.
Strengthen.
Yes, strengthen. So I tried prying it off a few times. My wife came out. She was like, "Well, can't you just cut a new one?" I was like, "Cut a new one?" I was like, "Yes, I could cut a new piece, but I gotta wait for epoxy, and like I'm not gonna gamble tomorrow morning, like hope this is cured." So I was trying to like pry it off. My wife's kind of like in the background, just like biting her nails, like, oh my gosh, she's not going to finish this. I ended up getting it off, and like I said to Scott, the flush trim saw, I was able to just like kind of cut it. I did mar the wood up a little bit, but I was able to like sand that out. And surprisingly, like the epoxy was fine. Like it wasn't messed up or anything. I did a good job with the flush trim saw, and that project I glued it up Friday night. Saturday morning, I had to still cut the round on it, and we got to the wedding half hour before, and I was able to like set it up and stuff. We should have gotten there 2 hours before. But 2 hours before, I was still working on it. So
try not to touch it; it's still wet.
Yeah. But it ended up working out. I was able to finish it. It came out really, really good. Like I really impressed myself with that. And then future rounds did not pan out so well. But that's another story.
Save it. It's gonna come up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Tim had asked when's the best time to start a project. I'm thinking he's
2 days
alluding to your
before.
procrastination. So,
Yeah.
do you still procrastinate that much, or did you learn your lesson?
No.
He didn't.
No, I don't-
No, he didn't
no,
learn. He
I
didn't.
don't
He didn't
know.
learn. He didn't learn nothing.
He works best under pressure.
I do.
He likes to take it to the very end.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. Yeah, I did wait. Tim and I did a maker collab project last year, and I waited a little too long, but part of me thinks I also started that too early, maybe. I don't know. Joey and I have gone back and forth on this.
I think he started too early, and he was just too laxed, and then that's what caused that one to go downhill. I was like, you needed to wait a little bit longer.
Yeah.
You work better under pressure. So
Yeah, well, plus that the weekend before it was due, my father and his wife were staying with us, so I couldn't really like work in the shop on that at the same time, so it was kind of like delayed by that. And then I think Sunday or Monday, I was like, look, I really need to work on this project because like I'm getting to like crunch time and I'm getting nervous, and I hadn't poured the epoxy yet. I think I did that epoxy Tuesday. Yes.
and it was
Tuesday.
due when?
Thursday.
Yeah. About right.
Still had a good aroma going when you gave it to him.
Yeah. So it hadn't on Wednesday night. It hadn't cured yet, and I was like, oh, okay. I still got till midnight Thursday. Like, let's give it another day. And I cut the so Tim's logo has it's like a gear on the outside. So that round I did like a gear on the outside. So I was able to like work on that part and stuff. And then I was just kind of like sitting there twiddling my thumbs, waiting for the epoxy to cure. And long story short, it didn't cure. And I just was like, well, I'll try sanding like a little area. That was a terrible idea. All the sawdust went into the gummy epoxy. It turned into a nightmare. The card scraper that I have never used before, but I had one, that was the saving grace, actually. I was talking to someone, they were like, have you tried a card scraper? I was like, oh, I didn't even think of that. And like that, just because like it didn't create like tiny sawdust, like it just created like chips that I could just kind of like shoot off. So that kind of cleaned it up a little bit, and I posted that reel, or I think I posted the picture at like 11:59 my time. I was just like, it's not 12 yet. Like,
load.
So and I mean, like Tim's the nicest guy in the world, and I was just like, I said to him, I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. I feel like I let you down and stuff. Like he nailed it. Like he made a clock for me with like a mustache that like rocks back and forth, and like he absolutely killed it on his side of the project. And meanwhile, like I feel like mine was just a fail. Like
I have a
Can't win 'em
T-shirt
all.
that says, "I got a lot of procrastinating done today." Maybe I'll send that to you.
I need that.
So you said just a while ago that you wanted to get a CNC. Do you have any that you're looking at, or do you have any in the cart yet?
I've been to Onefinity so many times and just like priced it out and stuff, and I'm like, can't really afford that right now. We were supposed to renovate our kitchen last year, and we got a few different quotes from a few contractors and stuff, because my wife's at that point right now where like she knows my time estimation with doing certain projects. So she's just like, no, you're not doing the kitchen. And I'm just like, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Tomorrow.
So we got a quote for like 55. I think we got another quote for like 65 or something. And instead of doing the kitchen, I went and bought a brand new truck. So
There you go. That
Good
works.
deal.
So yeah, the kitchen's not happening anytime soon, unless we win the lottery, I guess.
Well, that sounds like it's CNC's in play.
Possibly. We'll tackle that when we get there. But yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards Onefinity.
There you go.
Nice. AGK would like to know: do you thrive on a tight deadline, or is it a happy accident?
I think that could go either way.
So is 50% success rate thriving, or what? Is that what it,
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think for me, I just have I mean, we don't even have kids. Like, I don't really have an excuse. Like, I had to bring the kids to here, blah blah blah. Like, I don't have that excuse. Like, I just feel like I consume. I put way too many irons in the fire. I'm just like that. I want to do 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 that. And then, I'll get bored with one thing and, like get it to 90% and just like move on to something else. Just be like, I'm sick of working on that or whatever, just like,
Got a couple of screws. I'm going to do something else.
Yeah.
Tim says you did a fantastic job on the sign, and he'd partner with the mustache anytime.
there you
Thank
go.
you, sir. Appreciate it.
So I saw that you did the Murphy bed with the
Yes.
Wackerle kit.
That's
And
right
I've
behind
been-
me.
Oh, nice.
Right there.
We saw it twice.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I've been looking at those for a long time. So I'm
Mhm.
wondering, how difficult was it? Like, how long did it take you, minus the procrastination period? And how is it holding up?
I would say in Matt's time of day.
It's holding up really well. I'm really happy. I'm really happy with that. That was the queen size. I think it's iSemble. I don't know if Rockler's like rebranded it to something different. But the instructions were really good. I think I had to buy 3 sheets of plywood for that. And like they provide the cut list and everything. The tricky part for me was making sure that the little grubs, what is that called? Where you have to like put a reverse thread screw in to like receive a bolt.
Those are. They use them on furniture a lot, like in the corners.
Yeah.
Matt,
Yeah.
what are they called? I forgot what they're called, but they're it's like a wood screw, but it's got reverse threads on one side to drive it in, and then it'll. Yeah,
Chingadero.
Yeah,
Chingadero. That's what it's called. Chingadero. Yeah.
That one. Yeah. So that part was tricky. I definitely took my time on that Murphy bed just because I wanted everything. I wanted everything to be like. Well, I wasn't on a deadline. I wasn't on.
It was for
a
year-long.
I wasn't on Instagram or anything at the time. Like I was just like, yeah, whatever. Like when I get it done,
Good progress.
He didn't have any of us. Are you done yet?
Nope.
I'm good. I'm good.
But yeah, so getting because those threads need to be precisely like mounted because that's going to take the hinge that will like let the bed go down and up. So I wanted to like nail the placement of those, and I didn't quite go deep enough into the plywood, so I kind of like it bulged out a little bit in a few spots, but that was my only flaw. I didn't record this, but I did. So when you're doing these Murphy beds, there's a point where you have to kind of like go into the bed, and because there's no counterbalance on the tail end, there's the chance that you can kind of like fold yourself up into the box.
No. Have the camera on.
So there are a few spots where like, it got to like a 45 degree and I was like, oh no. And my wife like runs in and she's just like, what happened? And I was like, oh, I almost got like folded into the bed, So
wouldn't that have been a sight?
I'm telling you.
Where you at?
The video.
Oh yeah.
I'm in the
Totally
bed.
happened to me.
Yeah. But I do want to make a second. I do want to make a second Murphy bed. We have a 3-bedroom house, and the other room has a full size bed that I'd like to make a Murphy bed in there for that one also, because it's such a space savings. Like I have a big L-shaped desk right here that I'm sitting at, and when we have company come over, I can take the longer end of the desk off. I just have it on French cleats and stuff. I have a few bolts on the legs and stuff, and I could just bring this desk, the bigger part, out, and then the Murphy bed comes down, and it's like it was a bedroom the whole time. You wouldn't even know.
Nice.
Speaking of French cleats, I think that's a theme in your shop. I think you have a dedication to French cleats.
I have French cleats everywhere. I have a wall. Oh my gosh. that long wall is all French cleats. And I have your
miter station. Yeah, your miter station's on that wall, right? Yeah.
Yep. So I have my miter station on that, and then I made a little box next to the miter station, and I have some it's basically like an extension for the miter saw that I can like raise and lower and stuff. So like if I get to a point, I think I've moved the miter saw a couple times just because it's on the French cleats. It's like easy to move up and down the wall and stuff if I need to. My one complaint about having the miter saw with French cleats behind it is they just fill up with sawdust. Like literally, it's just a party every time that miter saw is going.
It's a sawdust party.
Yeah, so I'll have to like take the vacuum and like vacuum out those little 45 degrees.
So you're gonna hang all your tools up on that French cleat, and I mean,
yeah. I've slowly. I need to get back to making more holders and stuff, because like that's fun. Making holders for all the random stuff that you have and stuff is that I've had a good time doing that. It's just scheduling that in with everything else.
You can make holders for all the new tools you get for your CNC.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go.
With your make it with your CNC.
Make with your CNC. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I mean, I can put that 3D printer to work too.
There you go.
Yeah,
See?
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Make
can
some
get that with
standoff
French
for those epoxy pours too.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's brilliant, Joey. We just got the 3D printer. Come on.
Well,
Yeah,
it won't
not
get
even-
stuck to the standoffs may get stuck to the epoxy, but it won't get stuck to the table.
They won't.
It's okay. We got a flesh trim saw. We can get it off.
Yes, we can. We sure can.
Oh man.
All right, so I was obviously scrolling through your Instagram earlier and noticed you had a scroll saw in your
There
shop,
it
which
is.
great.
Here we go.
How long it was gonna take.
However, I am wondering, do you find yourself using it less and less now that you've got a laser in there with it?
Ooh, that's a good point. So I love that scroll saw. I had like a 1990 something Craftsman one before I got that that Cadillac of scroll saws.
Matt, you're mispronouncing laser. You're mispronouncing it.
Settle down too. You're making Jamie get a temperature over there. You know what I mean?
But like I do love the laser also, but I have noticed with doing some of the signs and stuff that I've done out of black walnut, if I was to use the laser, it would leave that little char on the inside of the letters. So like if I'm pouring white epoxy into that void, you would kind of see the char around the outside of the letters and stuff. And I hate that. So for the few walnut signs that I've done, I just go to the scroll saw. I'll print it. I'll print the design out. I'll put it onto the piece, and I'll just scroll it. Just because that would be a good reel actually if I did a little competition between the laser and the scroll saw and just like
Yeah, it would.
timed each one.
Joey's down there dying about something.
It's not.
Is it
it's
this?
not appropriate
Yeah.
for the show, but all I got to do is look up at Jake, and it's already like never mind. We'll save
Hope
it
that
for
kitty's okay, Mark.
You guys.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Moving on. Hey, Victor. Jake will probably answer that for you on Saturday morning cartoons.
Yes, sir.
Oh man.
Nice.
Okay,
Bear Paw,
Joey.
I probably will make a calendar. Eventually.
Last minute.
Right before I need it.
December 31st. It'll be done December 31st at 11:59.
December 29th.
2025. It'll be 2025 up. No good no more.
Oh,
Thanks,
my
Jake.
goodness.
Hey, there was a funny one, and then there was a golden one.
Yeah.
I couldn't control myself. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I see that. So on your house renovation, how did you like it? Did you run into a lot of bad things doing that? Because I know you've done a lot to it, and I know you still have some stuff to do. So what was one of the hardest ones that you had to undertake when doing that?
Let's see. I mean, doing the patio was interesting just because I've never like done stonework like that before. And we there was a little miscommunication between my friend and I. He thought I had like X amount of crushed stone, and I only had, a different amount. So we dug down 12 inches, and we really only need to go down like 8.
Ooh.
So
third of your budget.
yeah, we kind of messed that up, but I mean, like, I learned every project that I've worked with him on, I've taken bits and pieces from each one of those. From even doing, so I have the hardy plank siding that I put up, and there's these little gecko clips that basically like go under the piece that you've mounted, and then the next piece of siding slides onto that, and it's a one-man job completely. Like, you just put those clips on either end, and it literally just drops right in, and then you nail that down. And like, those little clips, for the ease of use and the kind of like one-man operation, like, those are a lifesaver. And like, I wouldn't have even known about them. I would have just been like, oh, I need my wife, like, hey, hold this. Oh no, it's crooked. Like doing the dance. But those little tips and tricks and stuff that I've learned from him, like, those are invaluable. I'd never like replaced a window before. I'd never replaced a door before. Like, those little, it was very, very valuable having him as a friend.
Do you feel that you can like do that on your own now without him there? Like, you've learned enough by doing that? Or
I mean, for my house, yes. Probably not as like being hired to do that kind of stuff, because like the building codes in Massachusetts are ridiculous. Like,
and people want it done like as soon as possible.
Yes. It's very strict here with building codes and stuff. And I heard that.
So here's that goes into my next question is, your friend was helping you with a bunch of projects and stuff. When he stopped living with you, how many were not finished and how many are still not finished?
Here we go.
Just
90%er. 90%er. It was 90% done.
Yeah. The siding has yet to be finished.
Is this what you were just talking about? How easy it was, a one-man job?
Yeah. Well,
Who needs a roof on his house?
It's literally that last piece that I have to rip. I have to rip all the way down, and then I have two gable ends on my house that I need to put the AZEC up on, and one of those gable ends is my main power line coming into the house. So thankfully, my neighbor across the street is an electrician, and I talked to him years ago about it. He was like, "Whenever you want to get into it, just let me know. I'll come over. We'll tie it off. We can replace it. Blah blah blah." That friend that I was talking about. He went and got married. Now he's got a little daughter. So like, I rarely see him anymore. I've just kind of been like, well, I guess this is at my discretion when this gets finished now.
Yeah.
So I saw that you used a badge reel to hold up the tubing on the laser?
Yes. Yep.
So that's pretty cool MacGyver trick.
I think I learned that. Oh, I can't take credit for that. I think I stole that from somebody.
Well, you can't if you can't remember who it was.
True. But yeah, that was a genius. That was a genius little hack for the laser, to just like tack that up, and then that will hold your. Because I have my RSS cord and then the main like power cable that I have coupled up.
Hey, we like that new iPhone update.
Oh, did it just thumbs?
Oh yeah, totally did.
Because he's on a Mac. He's on a Mac, so the Mac does it too.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, it does. Yep.
Wow.
Do the two fingers.
What, this one?
Yeah.
There's
So
two
if you do
fingers.
this, then you have laser show behind you.
No, the one that does this, it'll make fireworks. Oh, there you go. Then you can do
Should
the
have
heart.
started the show with that.
Oh, man. Let's start over. We'll
Let's
start
start
over.
over. Yeah, let's start
My
over.
fault.
Everybody acts surprised with all the answers.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness, it's Mathew.
Nice.
So
Nice.
you have something, I believe, in your shop that I'm curious of. You have a solar system. Is that correct? You have a whole solar.
Dude.
You
Yes.
do.
Solar
Tell me a-
system.
Got the whole solar system in
Wow.
there.
The whole
Solar
solar
system.
system. You have the whole system. And so you have the tankless water heater, and then you have a solar panels and the whole inverter and everything. How's all that work?
Yes. I absolutely love all of that. I put solar on the roof in 2014 because I golf with a guy that was like selling solar at the time, and he was like, oh, like the incentives are great right now, like you got to buy the system, but the government's going to pay a third of it. And I was just like, oh, okay. And like I looked into it a little bit more and stuff, and when I first bought the house, it was radiant heating. My house was built in 58. So in 58, they were putting radiant flooring in the concrete. And over time, the boiler crapped out. I think actually the boiler died a month after I bought the house in November of 2012.
As it does.
So living in the Northeast with the winter time, that's a great time to not have a boiler.
Yeah.
So we lived off space heaters for a little bit. That was also my hot water going through the boiler. So in a pinch, I ended up putting like a small 40-gallon like tank electric water heater into the garage, and we just kind of limped along with space heaters. I was finally able to, I had 5 to 10 contractors over here just kind of giving me quotes on like this system. I looked at mini splits. I looked at doing like radiators, baseboard, like a variety of different systems. I ended up going with a heat pump, which I love and hate. Like a heat pump's not great for like super cold conditions, but I offset that with a fireplace insert. So I went and bought a fireplace insert, and that will heat our entire house with a few fans kind of circulating the air around and stuff. Unless it's like, in the single digits or below that. Because basically the way a heat pump works, when it's like 30, if it's below freezing, that heat pump can't really pull any hot air from the outside. So it will switch over. It will switch over to a like superheated coil in the duct, and that is very expensive. I have learned. So
it smells funny when it first comes on.
So that's my heating. I did switch over to a electric. So my entire house is electric. I don't that's everything. I switched over to an electric hot water heater, which at the time, that was probably 2015, 2016. At the time, electric hot water heaters were kind of meh. They had like mixed reviews. I took a gamble on it, and it's still running strong. That was a huge win in my opinion. And then getting the solar on the roof was also a huge win. Like I will pay an electric bill probably January, February, and March, and then all of the rest of the year I pay $0 for my electric because I'm getting the kickback. And then anything extra that I sell back to the grid will just go into credits to my energy company. So, like I'll go into November, December, and, I'll have those credits built up. So even those months, like I typically won't pay an electric bill.
Nice.
I still have the loan for the electric panels or for the solar panels. But, I think the whole system in its entirety was $40K. The government paid $13K of that. So I took a loan out for $27,000, and then because I actually bought the system, I will get it's called an SREC, SREC. So every 1,000 kilowatt of energy that I generate, I get one of those SRECs, which basically trades as kind of like a stock. This year, 2024, is the final year that I get those back. So those typically sell from anywhere from 300 to 500 per share. So, quarterly, I would get a check based on their discretion. I kind of put it in their court to just decide like, like we should hang on to it or we should sell immediately. So, in the course of the year, I might get like $2,000 to $3,000 back from those SRECs. So, if I was smart, I would put that towards the loan, but I'm putting that towards other stuff that
CNC
machine,
CNC,
credit cards,
CNC.
Yeah, those. Hey, at some point you got to pay those.
Well, you need a credit card to pay for the CNC. So same thing, on the same page.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But yeah, solar. I mean, solar now might not be the best in terms of like, I got in my opinion, a ludicrous deal on what I've paid for in terms of energy over the years. And the rebates aren't just really aren't there as good as they were back then.
When you're putting it back on the grid, what are you getting? I mean, are you getting 50% on or 53 cents on the dollar? What is it? I mean, do you know?
Ooh, I think I'm in the 20s.
Okay.
My actual rate. I would have to look at the electric bill to tell you exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't pay a discounted. If I was to rip the solar off today, I would still pay the same price that I'm paying right now for my electrical rate. It's because you can like rent, you can get solar panels dropped on your roof for free, but you don't actually own them. So that energy, whoever the solar company is, will like get the kickbacks on like extra energy and everything.
So buying outright like you did is the way to go if you're going to do it. And then if you go to sell your house also, like that's a whole nother problem too. If you go to sell your house and you don't own the panels, then now there's extra stuff to mess with. Like buyers are going to have to deal with, well, I don't owe this, but do you? I got to get extra loan to pay those off also. Like I looked into it a little bit.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
There's a few different setups, and like for me at the time, I mean, like when I bought my house, I had all my credit cards paid off. I was just like, ha ha ha, I'll take that loan. And
you're like, I owe a bunch of money.
Still paying that off. But I mean, like that's one of the because it was like technically like a government loan that's like 1.9% or whatever, and I'm just like minimum payment all day. Like you get the minimum. I'll allocate more.
You get $1.
All right. So I saw
a closed up on time here, Jamie. So let's go ahead and do a speed round.
So I'll ask that question that I know that you're extremely curious about, Joey. Matt, what is your preference of scroll saw blades?
No one cares, Jamie.
Just let it go already with the scroll saw, Jamie. Jeez.
Spiral, love spiral. Go.
There you go.
What is your best project you've done up to this point?
Ooh,
that wasn't adhered to the table.
I would.
Now you've just canceled out 90% of them.
I would say my desk that I made.
Nice.
That is
I found where it says we're doing really fast. I found where it says you're second degree black belt in the taekwondos. Do you still practice that, or is it something you haven't done in a while?
Not at all. I couldn't even do a pattern these days. Back in my 20s, I went to a bunch of different dojos, studios, whatever you want to call them. And I had one school that was just like, oh, well, you're going to have to start off as a white belt again. And another guy was just like, oh, well, you're a second degree black belt that you didn't get with us, so you're going to have to pay extra. And it was like $175 a month or something. I was like, see ya. But I would, if I could find a reasonable rate to like get back into it, I would love that, because like I used to go to tournaments. I would compete. I got into full contact sparring and stuff. Like I had a really good time when I was doing that. I'm not as limber as I was back then.
It'll get worse. It'll get worse.
Squat down so I can kick you.
Get down here, boy.
I just take on little people now.
Yeah.
Man. How did you cut your miter saw cord? Was it like, did you move the cord accidentally, or was it a design flaw?
It went in there deep, didn't it?
What happened?
Oh,
Real deep.
Watch this.
I think. Oh, you know what had happened? So, so the cord, I took like an old box and like tried to make kind of like a shroud around my miter saw, and I bunched the cord up behind the saw, and I think I had pivoted. I changed the miter at one point, and then I changed it back. And when I pulled the saw down and then went backwards, I think the cord had like shot out, because like as soon I just saw a spark, and then the saw just shut off, and I was like, oh. And then I see one end of the cord just sitting there, just like, we got cut here. And yeah, I messed that up. But I mean, it's just three wires. I wired it back together, wrapped some electrical tape around, and we're off to the races.
Yeah, no biggie.
Yep.
Well, since we're going off all your failures here, what's your biggest failure that you've done that you've learned something from? I mean, we got the table.
About them all.
I mean, come on. It seems like there's a whole bunch.
Like rubbing it in.
Just grind it in there. Come on, we're grinding something out. Let's go.
I mean, technically, taping, gluing it to the table. I mean, it was a fail, but it came back. You know, like it came back from it. That
could be your greatest triumph instead of your greatest fail.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's all on how you word it.
There you go.
Not finishing the siding.
And
naming his page the Wooden Mustache so he can't shave anymore.
all right, Matt. Well, appreciate you coming on, bud. At this point, just let us know what you got coming up, and we'll go around the table here and let everybody know what's coming up.
Sure. So I just got a 3D printer. I'm still getting immersed into it. I've made a few different things so far. I really want to learn fusion. I'm doing the YouTube 30-day course right now. That's I know SketchUp, but I do not know fusion. And I see the value with learning that program. So I'm definitely in the midst of learning that, because I have a bunch of stuff that I want to actually like design and be able to like 3D print. So that's the big hot ticket item right now. A variety of different shop projects. I do have to make a desk for a friend of mine, and
let's do tomorrow.
No, we actually discussed it last year, and then we just kind of lost touch. He moved.
That's my kind of pace right there.
So yeah, I do have to. I got to get going on that. But yeah, I have a few shop things that I have planned. I do want to start posting some stuff on YouTube once again. All I have is a shop tour. I'm embarrassed.
Got over 500 views.
Does it really? Wow,
It
that's
does.
shocking. That's shocking. So yeah, definitely got to post more on YouTube.
All right,
Cool.
Jenny Jen.
Thank you, Matthew, for coming on with us. Enjoyed getting to know you a little bit more, and for putting up with all of our harsh jokes against you. What do I have going on? I am hosting my first paint party class this weekend, so looking forward to that.
Nice.
And all you guys rearranging your shops gave me the bug, so I've started that project. So you could put me in the 90% list too, because it's not done, but I got a good start on it. It looks great.
Go, Matt.
I am still in the shop, trying to get some updates done on moving things around there. I got to figured out that I need other things that made out of the CNC, so I haven't been able to move that yet. And doing some 3D printing for some stuff for the Winfinity. Getting those things done, and that's about it. That's what I got going on right now.
Jamie Pye.
I'm on week 2 of turning things on the lathe that you don't ordinarily see turn on the lathe. So it's something like that, yeah. So this week I'm releasing a video on making a wooden microphone that actually works. So then
Does
after
it have
that,
a mute on
sorry, Chubby. I purposely didn't put a mute on it. But after that, I'm going to be doing a back in the shop this week to do a Valentine's themed project, because obviously that's coming up. And then we've got cartoons on Saturday.
There you go. Speaking of cartoons on Saturday, all of our auctions last week went very, very well. And so our total as of now is $5,905. So we have 4 Saturdays to make $2,100. And so I can pretty much say, yeah, we're going to do it. We have some more cool things to do. So come and see us. This is Patreon weekend too for me and Jamie. So come and see us on Saturday morning cartoons. Here you go. Joey.
Side note to add to Jake's, those auctions are for Make-A-Wish. So if you want to support Make-A-Wish charities, come check it out.
Where do they go, Jamie?
NorthsideCustomCrafts.com.
There we go.
All right. Thank you, Matt, for taking the time and being on here. Or Mathew. Wooden Mustache. Y'all can find all his links down below. Go head on over to Instagram, give him a follow, YouTube, and go check out his website. He's got some cool things on there that you can purchase. Anyhow, I am still working on my renovation, whatever you want to call it, office expansion. So I'm doing that at the same time, doing a bunch of other stuff, fixing to put a YouTube video out. So keep your eyes open for that. Next week, we have Mr. Keith from Blackthorn Concepts joining us. That's going to be a good show. Got some pretty good things we need to talk about there. And thanks everybody in the chat for hanging out with us tonight. And we will see y'all next week. Same time, same place, same beautiful faces.
10 stars.
Bye. Oh yeah, the 10 stars. Please remember 10.
10.
I need
10
Dang it,
stars.
Matt.
10.
Dang it.
Please head on over to your Apple Podcast and leave us a review. We need a review so we can get ranked. Review. But anyhow, later.
Later.